Good evening, guys. Visionary Trading coming back with another video here tonight. Wanted to focus on the market research side of things. Wanted to post a video in regards to some of the tools that we use to get us going in the right direction. First things first, again, like we've mentioned in previous videos, nothing we post here is intended to be investment advice. This is all strictly educational based, our opinions only. And with that being said, what we wanted to start with is one of the sources we use, which is called investing.com. So what investing.com does is they're a site that actually posts futures. Okay, so every day during either the pre-market, which means before the stock market opens, or after the stock market closes, there's these real-time stock futures. And what they do is they help identify, the market sentiment in terms of how the market is perceiving the day to be before the stock market opens, or, like tonight, you're seeing the futures for stock market sentiment for tomorrow. So these futures are really important. Now, they're not the ultimate answer to where the market's going to be going, but at least it gives you a good idea of what might be going on. Now, today was a pretty big red day in the market. You saw the Dow down, 125 points or so, and that seemed to be fueled by a few different things, mainly Turkey and them going through their debt crisis. So, as you can see, it posts today's stock market performance. But over here to the left, these are live futures. And so far, the market's in the green as of 10:03 p.m. Central Standard Time. So far, market sentiment looks good for tomorrow. But, obviously it's good to follow these all the way up until the market opens because, as you know, any sort of news that hits the market, could affect the futures tremendously. So something to take a look at. It's a good source. If you're looking into specifics like commodities, you can move over here and you could see how commodities are looking. So gold, for example, silver, copper, oil. If you're interested in maybe entering an oil play, you might want to know how the oil futures are looking for the next day. So good source here. They also added crypto, which is pretty cool. We have our own sources we like to use for crypto, but at least they built in a plugin, which is nice. So this is a good source for you guys. The next source I want to take a look at is another source we use in terms of finding stocks, right? There's so many stocks out there that it's virtually impossible to scan all of them on a daily basis and determine which ones you're interested in. So there's a website here called Finviz.com. Great tool, great source. Now, this isn't the only source we use to identify stocks. There's many other things we do, and we'll get into that in future videos. But to start, a nice place to start is Finviz. On the very first homepage here, you can see that Finviz will post top stock gainers on the day and top stock losers on the day. It gives you an idea of some of the stocks that stick out on a daily basis, and what you can simply do is get some sort of ideas, right? You could take these stocks and you can throw them on a chart. And once you learn how to chart stocks, it can really give you the ability to come across potential plays. If a stock is down substantially and you see a favorable chart setup, well, all of a sudden you have a potential idea. So good source here in terms of the homepage for Finviz. They give you all sorts of material, and I'm still astonished this is free for the most part, the amount of material you get on here. So feel free to take a look at it when you have a chance. The coolest part of this website is this section up here called Screener. If you go here, you can basically find any stock you want based on your criteria. So if you're a person who's looking for, stocks under $5, we can do that. Simply click this, it's going to filter all the stocks under $5. And you can even filter it down even more by selecting other criteria, right? This is this descriptive, but if you go to something like technical and say you want stocks under $5 that have an RSI that's oversold, okay? It's going to pull up even more stocks. So now you keep skimming this list down, and it really gives you the ability to maybe focus on 5 or 10 different charts. It's a really cool source here. A lot of people use this for either the technical side or even fundamental. I'm a person that really likes the fundamental side of things as well, so having the ability to find stocks based on things like price to earnings ratio, uh, earnings per share, it's all here, and great tool. You're really going to like it, and I highly recommend taking a look at it. So good source here in Finviz. I'm trying to think about any other tools we like to use on here. Oh, another cool thing is the insider tab. So whenever a CEO of a company either buys stock or sells stock, it's going to be a public event. So chances are somewhere online there's going to be databases that are publishing this data, and Finviz is one of them. So for example, let's say we want to find stocks where their insiders or CEOs are buying shares. Maybe we think that's a favorable environment. Maybe we think that the CEO or upper management thinks that the stock is going in the right direction fundamentally. We would go to buy transactions, and you can find all these different stocks where upper management has been purchasing shares. And you can go over here to the value section and see how much worth of stock they bought. For example, right over here, STX Holdings. Look at the amount of value is being bought up in these shares. That's ridiculous. 26 million, 50 million, 29 million, the director. So good stuff here. Like I said, it just gives you ideas, right? So what you could do is, for example, STX. What the heck is STX? We're about to find out. So go to Thinkorswim and you can, pull up the chart. It looks like it's Seagate Technology. So what they do, not 100% sure, but once you figure out a chart setup, how to identify potential plays, you really don't even need to know what the heck they do unless you're studying more of the fundamental side of things. So let's take a look here. Yeah, and chart for the most part has been pretty sideways. There hasn't been, much of anything going on. You're starting to see a little bit of this upward trend, most likely based on all those shares being bought up, but not your typical chart that we would really go off of. There's just not much price movement here. So this is just an example, but hopefully you understand what we're trying to get across, and that is, using a source like Finviz to even give you some ideas of what to take a look at. So good tool here. Trying to think. I'm pretty sure there's not anything else we wanted to look at here. Well, there is one more section. So say you pull up a stock. We'll pull up, the heck are all these pop-ups? Pull up, for example, Apple. You click on it here, and not only can you see a chart and filter it out, you can also go under here, see all their fundamental numbers, see ratings, and also all the news you can ever think of on these stocks is on Finviz. So it's really a one-stop shop for, stock research in a sense. other than that, we kind of just wanted to bring you a video here tonight on some of the research tools we use. Like I mentioned, there are many more that we take a look at, but Finviz and futures are a really good foundation and good place to start. So thanks for tuning in here tonight for anyone who's viewed this video, and we'll talk to you soon.